Sports Chat. We have a variety of things this week, including the Campbell County spring game,
Yeah,
such as it was with its rain delay and all that, but still a fun night of football.
anytime you have football, it's always fun. Didn't really rain particularly hard, just a few showers, but there was a lot of lightning that evening if you were there, or if you tried to come and had to leave. And the game was delayed for an hour and a half to start, so they just made it two short quarters. They just, kind of zipped by. Wasn't a whole lot of, I would call serious action going on during the game. It's just good to see them out on the field, see their new uniforms. They got new orange uniforms this year. I believe that replaced possibly the black uniforms.
Right.
Please.
It had a variety of potential helmet logos.
Yeah. Didn't so much like the eyes on the helmet that much, but the interlock, or the Campbell County, the outline of Campbell County
With CC in the
with
middle.
CC on it, and
That was my favorite of the logos.
really enjoyed that one. But we're going to see that variety of looks throughout the year. Basic, celebrity coach game. One coach had Jeffers step back and just sling it down the field pretty much as far as he could on every play, and the other guy liked to run the ball a lot. I believe the orange squad beat the blue squad 15-7.
That's with the point system where you got some points for ring of fire,
Yeah,
points for tug of war. That's already on the times. You can see it.
Big shout out to Coach Parker. His defense on his team, it shut down the offense on the blue team that Josh James was coaching. Sorry, Josh. Cody got the better of you. He's pretty proud of his goose egg that
He is. Cody. I never thought, knowing Cody, since I've known him, he'd wind up being a defensive guy. I mean, great offensive coordinator at La Follette. Always had a good mind for offense. Stepped under Matt Price's tutelage and became a defensive guru.
I'll just say this about Cody. You saw his success at La Follette Middle School. You saw his success at Jacksboro Middle School with basketball. Now you see his success with the Cougars on defense. He's just a good coach. He's a good teacher of children or youth, of players. He gets the most out of his players. He just does good at whatever he does.
And now you're going to see him applying his basketball talents as Matt Housley's new assistant.
Yeah, he has moved up. That's the other big story in the news this week in Campbell County related sports is the array of coaching openings that have opened up over the last couple of weeks.
There's obviously the Jacksboro Middle School men's basketball job we just spoke of. The baseball job is still open.
The middle school baseball job, I believe, is now open.
Is now open.
The volleyball team now needs a coach. And, of course, La Follette Middle School, I believe,
Needs a coach.
Football.
Sean Jesse, if you're out there,
needs a
apply.
coach. Yeah, so
JT would love to have you there.
I talked to Principal Wheeler at the spring game, and she said they're having a tough time finding a coach because her problem is that it's different with volleyball. Volleyball, the coach doesn't have to even be a teacher. And the coach doesn't have to teach. They don't have to teach at the high school. They can be an aide. I believe it can be just someone like like Wolfenbarger, who's an SRO and doesn't technically work for the school system. He works for the sheriff's department and can coach soccer. I believe that volleyball can have just pretty much anybody who's qualified to coach can coach. Baseball, she said she had to have a teaching position open to land that coach. And right now she doesn't have any teaching positions open.
It's tough, and it's not like you can just grab any teacher and have them be baseball coach.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a special skill set, and Ryan Browning is an extremely valuable asset to the Campbell County over his years. I mean, coaching baseball, he's an excellent baseball coach, excellent girls basketball coach, but he left both positions, so both positions had to be replaced.
Man deserves time with his family, though. So.
They obviously hired Brad Honeycutt to
And Honeycutt's going to do a good job.
replace him, and that, I guess, take one of the teaching positions. I assume Honeycutt's going to be a teacher of some
I would think so.
So, Browning was doing two jobs for the one teaching job, and now that's left Principal Wheeler in a tight spot on hiring this baseball coach. She said she had an applicant, I believe, from Waco, Texas, apply for the job, and a couple of other ones that she was looking over. But we'll see who gets the job, and I'm sure it'll work itself out eventually. She's got a long time to go on it. She said her volleyball is one of her pressing needs because they start
Soon.
workouts in a couple of months, and obviously at the other fronts, La Follette Middle School's football coach is the other pressing need because they were having spring practice just recently,
And Honeycutt stayed around to do spring practice. He gave him a spring practice. And you know, Honeycutt, he has a young child, and sometimes you got to step back and take care of your family.
here's what I say about any of these coaching positions, especially middle school level and some of the other ones. You put a lot of hours in, and you don't get paid a lot extra.
Or none.
It's like working
As
an
an assistant.
entire second job almost, because you assume that Honeycutt probably gets there a couple of hours before school starts, and he stays at least 2 to 3 hours after that, and on a game night he stays, I guess, 4 to 6 hours after that.
It's
So you look at it, he's probably getting an extra 18, 20, 25 hours a week in at minimum, doing that and not getting paid a lot for it. It probably works out to somewhere around minimum wage.
It probably works out to less than minimum
Maybe
wage,
even
to
less
be
than minimum
honest.
wage. I mean,
Like I said, I've coached middle school football. Now, I was never a head coach in middle school, but especially the last couple of years with Sean and Rodney, I didn't necessarily get there when they did, but I was usually the last one to leave with them. And I mean, we would get together, we would all go back to Sean's and eat supper at about 8:30.
no, it's
And that's, you know, them being there since probably 7 that morning.
It's a lot of extra work, and I can't blame anybody who doesn't want to keep doing it. And you just got to thank him for the service they put in. I mean, he had La Follette going in the right direction, and they had a good season last year. We'll see who the new coach is, how well they can do. It's just, you know, it's one of La Follette's big things. They've never quite had the consistency that Jacksboro has in coaching staffs or anything else. It's more of a revolving door kind of situation. Maybe someone from within the La Follette program that played at La Follette and, you know, has a true love for La Follette will come through and take over.
I would love to see that. I mean, I'm a Jacksboro guy. I mean, I coached there for years. I learned to walk on that football field. But I want to see La Follette's program do well.
Here's the way I look at it. I mean, I went to La Follette. I go to all the Jacksboro games. I'm in the booth spotting for Jacksboro have for years now. And I like both schools because ultimately it affects my favorite school in the county, and that's Campbell County. But ultimately they have to play together. I mean, they're a rival for a couple of years there, but that all goes away as soon as they get up here, and you got 4 years up here that you want to work to build one solid product. And I like what Honeycutt was doing, working with Campbell County staff. Hopefully the new staff at La Follette, you know, continues to, you know, come up here and work with these guys because it helps. I mean, it helps. We've had people tell us that La Follette players, because of the system they were running, arrived with more knowledge of that system and more able to
Step
potentially
in quickly.
immediately contribute, as you saw some people from La Follette starting games on the offensive line the last couple of years for Coach Turner. I mean, that's just an advantage. They knew the play calls already. They knew the blocking assignments already. And it helps a lot. And this is obviously a very good system that they run up on the hill at Campbell County. It's going to help your kid out a lot. He wants to play at the high school levels who have learned all the terminology already and make him more able to play and help the team out. So that's what my whole ultimate goal is for both the middle school programs on this side of the mountain. I'd like to see Jellicoe be able to do it with their football program, which will always be, in their situation, is participation is what it's going to come down to. And Jellicoe has got enough students, they should have more than 17 or 18 football.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen good Jellicoe squads at 25 men. And that 25 is not a terrible number for that size
But
school.
we'll always use the example of Wartburg while Rodney was coaching them. Wartburg had 35, 40 players. And Wartburg's the same division, same class, same size as Jellicoe as a school. But you just got to get the right guy in there who's really going to motivate the players to come out and play.
You know, they tried at one point to get Rodney to Jellicoe. And he's got a lot of family history there.
That's
His father and grandfather both played there.
his family roots are in Jellicoe. I mean, Rodney may be the best thing to ever come out of Jellicoe.
And he seriously considered it. He really did.
It's hard to turn down that kind of situation. I mean, I think Rodney, if he ever did get there as a head coach and got up there and coached for a few years, that he would have Jellicoe competing at the top of that division. And you wouldn't have Jackals from Lynn Camp coming down here and putting it on them. So, Campbell County's hopefully going to put it on Lynn Camp.
Oh, yeah.
After some of the controversy of the offseason.
In related football news, Christian Mundy will be joining Nick Bailey to be Carson Newman Eagles.
Congratulations to Christian. He got his good qualifying test scores in, and obviously he's got the body to play Division I football, and the physical strength to play Division I football. He's a beast. He's 6'4". He's 300 pounds. He's fast for his size, especially. I think he ran a 4.740, which is just ridiculously fast at MTSU's camp. And he's bench pressing 400 pounds already, and he's squatting something over, I believe, 600 pounds. All of UT's defensive tackle prospects, from what I saw, are not on the level of strength that he has. So, he's going to make it life tough for the opponents of Carson Newman, him and Bailey, over the next 4 years.
That's a brutal defensive pair. Can you imagine if Andrew would have wound up with them too?
Oh, that would have been great for Carson Newman.
I mean, of course, we're lucky we get to see a lot of these kids go on and play on the next level. And another heartfelt congratulations on the high school level. Rachel Nelson had a really good showing at the state track.
She was the only one of the Cougars athletes that made it to state, and she went out and finished in the top 20 in the state, I believe, in the hurdles. Very good. She's a junior. She'll probably have a good shot at repeating next year and getting back in there. And like I say, I think next year you'll probably see Bryce Dawson up there in the state level.
And kudos to Cumberland Gap's Wake Forest signee Rusty Probbins, who, believe it or not, only brought home one state title this year.
There must be a beast out there in one of the events.
Rusty placed in the shot put, first in the shot put, second in the discus. So the kid that, the thing is, Rusty scratched a couple of throws that would have won him the state, but still, the guy's in 4 years of high school has won multiple state titles.
Yeah, I mean, well, he is Cumberland Gap's track team.
I don't know if Cumberland Gap's track team next year. His little brother's more of a football player.
I guess he's probably got 5 or so state titles now.
But Rusty's a great guy, and I'm just really happy to see a kid like him win.
Yeah. That's pretty much it for local sports until July. Of course, you'll have your little league teams and everything, but as far as the
soccer tryouts are actually this week, girls soccer.
You'll start seeing actual practices.
And I want to talk about a camp that Campbell County Youth Football is putting on with Jabari Davis is coming to town. And I think it is June 7th. It's a $60 camp, but there's 3 former Vols that are
It's hard
putting
to
on the
beat.
camp.
Davis was a 5-star running back out of high school. Went on to play 4 years in Tennessee.
Let me just get on the volunteer times right now and see.
But
When Brent Lester gave me the info today, Brent has done such a good job with that Little League program.
yeah, you got the Little League program, and Campbell County is going to have their football camp as well here in a few weeks. I think it's sometime in June. And Coach Price and Coach Parker, James, all the guys are going to be there. Coach Turner. It's good to send your kid to that.
Okay, now it's a $60 camp, but it's on June 7th. It's kids 6 to 14. It's Jabari Davis, Troy Fleming, and Derek Tinsley.
That's a running back triple play right there. I mean,
That's hard to beat.
Troy played football.
And that's gonna be at the Little League field on 860 East Chestnut Street, the former East La Follette School, now East La Follette Recreation and Community Center.
$60 with 3 former Vols. I mean, that is tough to beat. I think I want to say Troy and maybe Jabari, but I'm pretty sure Troy made an NFL roster.
Troy played for the Cowboys briefly, didn't he?
I believe so.
And then he had a great Arena League career.
he was one of the great fullbacks at Tennessee and played some running back. And Tinsley's a little speedy little scat back guy. He also a 5-star recruit out of high school. Back when the talent was flowing in under Fulmer and not really winning a lot for what their recruiting rankings were, but hey, that's what led to Fulmer, being ousted. But like I said, the Cougar football camp. I think Cougar football camp's ages 5 to 15, maybe. Just take all your kids to them that you can afford.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Valuable
really
experience.
not go wrong learning from any of these guys. I mean, the Prices, James, Parker, of course, Big Dan Turner, Cody Siebert, Daniel Berry's arguably, not even argue, Daniel Berry's probably the best, arguably the best running back to play at Campbell County ever. And there's a lot of good football knowledge that's going to be available through these camps.
Yeah, I mean, bring your kids out to them. I mean, heck, come to the Campbell County camp and just, I always say this, watch Ethan Jeffers do what he does. He's only going to be here for one more year. You enjoy every minute of it. You don't see people like him coming through here very often, if ever. Because, he's obviously owns every Cougar record just about you can own now. And he's only going to expand on those records this coming fall. That you will not find a better role model for your kid. He's a great kid, works hard every day.
Holds a job, has a great GPA.
I mean, the more you can get your child or whomever you want in your life around Ethan, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you don't see an athlete of Ethan's caliber very often. I mean, same thing with Nick Bailey. He's a generational kind of linebacker.
It's caliber of athlete and character both with those guys. And Ethan, the highest character, and all of those guys, just high character, hard-working people, humble as they can be. I mean, just one of the better people you could want your child to learn something from is just to get up there and watch him do what he does.
Let's see, was there anything else high school-wise? I don't think there's anything else overly local. Though Jacksboro Middle School will also be having a camp, and that's another experienced bunch of coaches to learn from. In fact, if you got a kid that's a kicker, it wouldn't hurt to get him down there with Scott Webb. The guy knows his stuff.
Yeah, Webb worked with Rosas, and now Rosas is pretty much the best kicker that Campbell County's ever had. And he's another one who's just going to expand on the record books as his career continues through Campbell County.
And, of course, on the more national level, NHL and NBA playoffs are actually, they're in just the tense part of the playoffs now.
Yeah, the NHL playoffs, the Rangers are looking to close out the Montreal Canadiens. Been doing pretty well in their series. The Wild got up on Chicago 3-1. Chicago in double overtime last night managed to pull a win out and send that to a Game 6. Chicago has had their back to the wall a couple of times recently, and I believe they're 15-0 now in Games 5 and 6. When it comes down time, crunch time. I mean, this is not the first time they've been down 3-1 in the series and went on to win the Stanley Cup even. So we'll see if the Blackhawks can come back, or if the LA Kings, can close them out. And I'm sure the NHL is salivating over either matchup. Whether it be I'm sure they want the New York Rangers to win because that's New York.
I mean, from a TV standpoint, there's no better matchup than New York versus Chicago.
Well, I mean, the other option is New York versus LA,
which is also a superior matchup.
Massive TV markets. NHL, this has the potential to get them further back on the map again. They had a down spiral a few years ago, and they've been trying to recover from it. And with exciting hockey, if you'll watch any of it, there's nothing more exciting than overtime playoff hockey. I mean, it nearly kills you if you're a fan of any team that's involved in it. But if you're not a fan of a particular team but want to watch something exciting, that overtime playoff hockey is as good as it gets. And the Blackhawks certainly deliver overtime games. They've had a bunch of them every year, and I think they've had 4 or maybe 5 in the playoffs so far this year.
And, in other news, Reggie Miller and the Pacers are just taking it, to the Heat as best they can.
Yes, Reggie Miller.
He still plays for the Pacers, right?
Yes, no. They did come back, though. They were down 3-1, looking to get closed out. And Paul George had 37 points last night. And 31 in the second half, and they managed to stave off elimination for another day. I still think the Heat are probably going to win it in Game 6. I don't like the Heat. Wish they would somehow manage to lose the rest of the games, but probably not going to happen. Other side, the Thunder and the Spurs are in an epic series. The Spurs dominated the first 2 games. Serge Ibaka came back for the Thunder, the power forward, very good power forward it's turned out. Thunder's pretty much handled them in business in the last 2 games. So that's going to Game 5, I think, tonight, and we'll have to see who pulls that one out. You get that third win, and you're 1 away from winning the series. Big advantage to whoever can win tonight. I think the game tonight is in San Antonio. San Antonio's the old veterans. I mean, everybody on that team's getting pretty old as far as sports years go. Tim Duncan's been in the league since, I think, 96. He's almost 20 years in. Tony Parker nearly as long, and Manu Ginobili. I mean, those are the same big 3 that were on the team when they won the title in 1999. So it's 15th anniversary of that. They're hoping to get one more ride, one more title in. I just want whoever wins that series, the people will have the best chance at beating the Heat. Probably, I can't believe it wouldn't be the Thunder. When you have somebody dynamic like Kevin Durant, he's capable of taking over any game. And if it's LeBron trying to guard him, it's going to make LeBron a little less focused on his offensive capabilities. But we'll see. Pretty long ways to go in both of those, and pretty long ways to go in the NHL season. At least one more series on each side. Baseball, though,
It's on.
It's on.
Do you know Memphis has an NBA team now?
Yeah, they've had one for about 15 years, maybe 20.
Who knew?
I think they maybe had their NBA team before the Titans came to Tennessee, but around that time.
Who knew?
That's been pretty good over the years, and in the playoffs several times. In the playoffs this year. Paul Gasol's brother, Mark, one of the best centers in the league, played for them. The big Spaniard. But yeah, I don't pay much attention to baseball. I used to be a Reds fan. They started supporting Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. Don't care anymore. I assume that I think I saw what Stephen King tweeted that the Red Sox were on a 10-game losing streak. I don't like things that make Stephen King unhappy, but I have to say that pleases me. That's about it for the national sports. UT level, dead time. The women were eliminated from softball this year, much to your grandmother's
Chagrin.
great chagrin.
No, we didn't get a national title, though.
Yeah, the men's tennis doubles team won the doubles national championship. I think it was the first NCAA title of any kind at UT since 2004.
So, good for them.
So it was a pretty long stretch for UT without a national title, because they used to have a dominating swimming, track, and a bunch of other teams. It seemed like every sport at UT fell on kind of hard times around the same time. So thanks Mike Hamilton for that, kind of his rise and us going down.
It says a lot.
Hire somebody from Clemson, that's what you get. But David Hart looks like he's got things back heading towards on track. I mean, the basketball team picked up probably, or very possibly, the final piece for 2014 a few days ago. A guy named Tariq Owens. Pretty excited about Owens. He's 6'10", almost 6'11" now. Very, very athletic, but really skinny. He only weighs 190 pounds, which is really skinny at 6'11". It's kind of skinny at any height, above 6 feet, in my opinion. But
That's what you have a strength and conditioning program for, though.
they got to get him into the strength and conditioning program, see if they can pack some weight on him. If he could get up to 220, 215 even, it would be huge. He's extremely athletic. The kid was 5'9" as a freshman in high school, and he's grown a foot, and a little over a foot and an inch and a half since he entered high school. He was a guard when he entered high school, so from what I've read, they said he's really athletic. They said he can guard guards. He can handle the ball.
Probably has great ball handling skills, I think.
And he's 6'10" and a half now. And he's been growing an inch and a half, 2 inches. He may be 7 feet by the time he arrives at Tennessee if his growth keeps going like it is. And the big thing, he reminds me sort of Tyrus Thomas for LSU. Tyrus Thomas came out his freshman year or senior year of high school. He was 6'9" and 175 pounds. Went to LSU redshirted, got in the strength and conditioning program. Was 6'9" and a half, 210 pounds his freshman year as a redshirt freshman. And by the end of that season, he was dominating. I mean, he blocked every shot that came around him. He shot 60% from the field, 12, 13 rebounds a game. He went through the stretch in the NCAA tournament that year and I think he averaged 21 points and 13 rebounds a game in the NCAA tournament. Got LSU all the way to the Final Four. Declared was the 4th overall pick in the NBA draft. So he had a just meteoric rise. And this Tariq Owens team may never be that good, but they just look similar, have a similar story. Tyrus Thomas was also about 5'10" his freshman year and had a big growth spurt of about a foot over his 4 years. Also rail thin like that. And as prospects go among rivals and all those recruiting rankings, they're around the same, around 100, 150th in the country. So I would like to see that happen for Tariq Owens, and obviously it'd be great for Tennessee if he could explode like that. You know, Tyndall's got a good reputation for this. I mean, Kenneth Fareed was an unranked forward coming out of the hinterlands of New Jersey. Ended up at Morehead State, and Tyndall, coached him up. Got him to be a first-round NBA draft pick.
For Morehead State, of all places.
One of the best rebounders in the NCAA history by the time his career was over there at Morehead State. He starts for Denver and averages about 15 points and 8-9 rebounds a game now. So
that's tough to beat.
Tyndall has shown that he can do that. It helps a lot when you can say, hey, I've got this player in the NBA.
Well, it helps a lot when you got an NBA player that may come in and work with him someday, too.
Yeah, I mean, Tobias Harris, who plays for Orlando and, of course, played for Tennessee, having a good career at Orlando right now, averaging about 16 points and 10 rebounds a game. He's still enrolled at Tennessee as a student, and he comes back in the summer and actually works out with the players some. He loves Tennessee.
He's a Vol for life. I mean, he's a true definition of it.
So that's pretty much it. We're going into the doldrums of summer in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Just the football camp, and then football practice will finally start back up for the local schools here in about 6 weeks.
And we'll start bringing in some local coaches, players, people to talk about for stuff like this.
Be going on site for interviews.
May even go up to that camp with the former UT players.
Yeah, we're in production right now. I mean, Chris is getting ready to start working on the preseason video. We've got a lot of spring practice highlights. We'll be doing interviews over the coming weeks. And right around the time the season gets ready to start in August, hopefully Chris will have it done. He's in graduate program right now. Very busy. A lot of demand on his times with the work and school. But
these videos take a while to produce.
he puts a lot of work into them, and you see the final product. Excellent. Go to this YouTube page and look at any of them you want to, and he does a very good job with them. And we'll have another one coming up pretty soon for the football season. I'm pretty excited.
I'm absolutely excited. Fans, that'll about do it for this week's Sports Chat, and we will see you next week.